Silent by Enola Ravenmere. Her home was nestled at the edge of a deep wood, surrounded by rambunctious life that spilled into the small meadow, disturbed only by the steady flow of a clear stream. The sounds of what was wild and pure filled the air with the perfume of the seasons. The pattern had always been that once in a great while, someone torn and battered would stumble to the path and be offered healing and rest. They never lasted long. These visitors, age would soon overtake them, or they would decide to return to where they had been wounded. Before Silver had filled her braids, there were fewer of them. Nature was in harmony. The sounds of destruction did not penetrate her valley so close to the sea. Time had passed, however. Each season fewer of her beloved creatures found it possible to live outside of this small world, and most could not return once they left. The flow of the others, though, that had increased with each passing season. Each visitor eventually told her of what had wounded them and the world beyond her little shack. Sometimes with words, most often with raw tears and terrible nights when they would fight unseen demons. She understood the pain because it flowed through her. She allowed it to, though she did not have to. It was very familiar as the animals shared the same, though they could not understand the cruelty in the same way. When she had heard their stories, she would stare into the still waters of the small pond that the beavers had created and ponder what she had learned. Many times she had wondered why the world of these visitors was so disconnected from harmony. She heard of how they had decided that they were not a part of nature anymore, but were supposed to dominate it. Later, she heard tales of how those who lived in harmony were slaughtered by those who proclaimed that they were evil. This new group were far more violent and destructive, not just to other people, but to nature herself. The reason offered made no sense, but that did not matter as they burned their way through a shattered landscape. She had hoped that time would resolve things, slake their thirst and greed, bring them back to kindness and harmony. Each season she hoped, then sighed as more of the broken stumbled through. She rose with the first light and a soft fog to a nearly silent world. The creatures were not silent because they were afraid. That had not happened in a long time now. No, they were silent because they were gone. Not all of them, not quite yet, but most. The plants could not grow as they used to. The water was not healthy. The biggest sound now was the steady booming of explosions and the wails of the innocent. The time had come for her to do what she had dreaded and held off for so long. She carefully braided her silver hair, singing softly with each plait. The song was the ageless one of healing. She knew the cost of this. She had always known the cost, and if it were just to be paid by herself, she would have done it long ago. She sat at the feet of the great oak and placed her hands upon the roots and let the knowledge flow through her. All of the wisdom of billions of eyes, leaves, roots, songs, and tendrils washed through her, and she saw clearly who it was who was destroying their mother. Two paths lay ahead. Neither caused no harm. Both gave time for a measure of hope. If she chose the first, there would be no more people, guilty or innocent, young or old, it would not matter. They would be gone and nature would slowly restore herself, though she would be forever changed from what she had been. If she chose the second, there would be some people, but they would be left grieving and confused for a season because they would not understand what had to happen. It was risky to go down the second path. They could hold to what had become familiar and pass it on, which would continue the cycle. It was also the only way to truly protect the innocent. She made her choice. When she fully embraced it, she paid the price that was demanded willingly. The few creatures remaining came to what was once her and gently offered their goodbyes. A whisper of hope was preserved for them, and where there was hope, there could be life. The booming had ceased. Nature could now regain her voice. The end.